It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles.
Welcome in. Sports by the Book is the show. South Point Studio is the site. I'm Jeff Parles. Happy to be with you. Joining us for the whole hour.
I'm here
today. Special treat for us. He hosts Punchlines. He sent me in to the jungle today with being in between him and Bob Zaney.
Unbelievable.
Our guy, Frank Nicotero.
Yeah. Happy to be here, man. This is fun. And Bob Zaney, and thank you, Jeff. You're like, well, you don't need me today. Bob Zaney's coming. I said, no, I want you there. Please click on that show.
Fodder, honestly.
Yeah, it really was.
And in all honesty, Bob Zaney's one of the funniest people on the planet.
He's one of my favorites.
I will say, I actually think, even though I got blitzed pretty good,
yeah.
I still think it could have been worse.
Yeah,
which is good.
Exactly.
Which is good.
No, he liked you. You could tell he liked you, and you the connection with Missouri, a lot of Missouri jokes and talking about back east. It was great.
Look, I went to University of Missouri. My wife's from St. Louis.
Right.
I have no problem poking fun at the state.
Yeah.
No problem whatsoever.
Nah, he was amazing. Please check out that episode with Bob Zaney on our webpage here.
It was a lot of fun.
Our YouTube page.
YouTube page, of course.
YouTube, yeah.
I just want to bring this up real quick, Frank, because I didn't expect to start here.
Right.
But we're going to start in a game that's happening across town right now.
Right. And unbelievable.
So conference tournaments are underway. By the way, our guy Sam Panayotovich, who was on with Alex and I on Saturday on Sports by the Book, let you know, hey, those games in St. Louis and Arch Madness in the Missouri Valley.
Arch Madness.
They trend to go under.
Okay.
2 games, 2 unders. First game didn't even reach 100 combined points.
Yeesh.
So those 139.5 that it closed at 139 easy on Mo State and Murray State. It was 60 to 35.
Oh my gosh.
Very competitive game. And in the second game, which was the only one I haven't bet under today.
Right.
I bet the other 2 and the early one. I didn't bet Belmont and Valpo because I was concerned about Valpo's defense having any ability to stop Belmont.
Okay.
86 to 61.
Oof.
That's 147. The total was 153.5.
Nice.
So 2 for 2.
Who's the number 1 seed in that?
That is Indiana State.
Oh, yeah, with Larry Burley or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, they're calling him. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I love
Mr. Avila there.
Oh, he's the best. I love that guy. I will root for Indiana State. And by the way, since Larry Bird, no one ever really talks about them since 79, right?
I think they only have 2 NCAA tournament bids since Larry Bird was there.
I think so.
It's a low number.
Yeah.
That's why one in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
And that was
I do remember that.
Indiana State and Drake, the clear 2 best teams, even though Bradley's pretty good too. I would love it for the committee to put both Indiana State and Drake in, but we know how the committee is. But I got sidetracked.
Oh, yeah.
Here in town, at the WCC, the first round, the only first round game technically, the 8-9 seed.
The 8-9 matchup.
Pacific, who is in the bottom 15 in Ken Palm this year, at 6-25, taking on Pepperdine, who is not any good either. They're 12-19 overall. 9 minutes to go in the first half. Pepperdine 37, Pacific 2.
But that play just encapsulates everything about this team. They missed a layup, then the outlet pass by Pepperdine, they missed the easy steal, and then an alley-oop slam. So it showed that they missed a layup, they fanned on an easy turnover, and then they allowed the alley-oop.
I don't root
there's
for
a 3.
That's short.
Yep.
I don't root for just absolute embarrassment.
Yeah, that's bad.
But it would be kind of funny to see like a box score at halftime if it was like 56-6 or something like that.
They're on
which
track.
I think is very much in play, even though Pepperdine nearly just well, don't give them any easy points now. Come on.
But Pacific was 0-16 in the conference, 6-25 overall. They're the 9th seed. Pepperdine, what they have, 5 wins.
Yeah, still a bad team.
Yeah.
But
you can't concentrate on anything when you go to school in Malibu.
You of course have lived most of your adult life in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I've only been to Malibu one time.
Yeah.
And of course it was an overcast day because of course it was.
Yeah.
But that campus, you're 100% right. You're overlooking the water.
It's unbelievable. You're right there in Malibu. There's airball.
It's so embarrassing.
39-2. What was the spread on this game, by the way?
I think Pepperdine was 10. Yeah, 10.
10.
I think you're okay.
And they're up 37.
What is that live number?
An in-game right now.
Let's see what the live number is on this.
My God. This would be a bigger upset than Chaminade versus Virginia if they would come back.
From 30 down?
Yeah, exactly.
Or, 40 down?
Oh, my God.
It's 37 right now. How about this? not available.
Oh, yeah. They're like, no, we're not.
We're not putting anything up. Oh, that's
wow.
Caesars, who has it live right now, at least in the continuous.
Oh, another
I
brick.
mean, this is horrible.
Oh, God.
One national book has it up right now. Pepperdine is 40.5 with 7 minutes to go in the first half.
I mean, do you see them playing even? I mean, that's taking minus.
Well, right now it'd be plus 3.5
Yeah.
from right now. I don't want Pacific from the actually. Hold on, we did not anticipate starting the show with this.
Sorry,
but because of what is going on, we have to bring it up.
7 minutes to go.
7 minutes to go in the half. It's 39-2.
They have 2 points, and their shots and the shots we've seen them take,
they're not even close.
Are not close.
They're not close. 39-2 is. Oh, my goodness.
I feel like we could put together a team from South Point Studios.
We might be able to match this.
I think we would have got more than 2.
No, well, we probably would have given up 60 by now.
Right, but I think we'd score 6.
Right now, so this is just a horrible combination of things. Pacific is 1 of 17 from the field with 9 turnovers.
Yeah, the turnovers we've
15
seen.
15 of 23 for Pepperdine. Yikes.
Right.
All right, well, let's move on from that.
Move on, jeez, for all you Pacific fans.
So I just want to bring this up real quick. I'm a little bit baffled, and I might have to ask Kai McKeon when he comes on in about 10 minutes. One of the odder line moves without really any injuries today that I've seen in a long time, where UAB opened 2-point favorites in Philadelphia today against Temple. Frank.
Okay.
All right, so stay with me. It's not the most intriguing game. UAB's a solid team, but
Sure.
Temple's, even though they're playing better, bottom feeder in the AAC this year.
But a local team on the local field there, right, in Philly.
A home game.
Right, home game.
At the Licora Center in northern Philadelphia. So it was 2.5. And then from within the course of an hour plus, okay, went from 2.5 to 8.
Oh.
Now we're back to 7 just a few moments ago. I actually bet UAB on the overnight at 2. So I don't know what's going on here. This is one of these rare occasions
Is
where
all of Temple out or something?
I don't know.
Or
It's not even a real injury report. And there's some weirdness going on with some people on X saying some nonsense, but that always is said. But very bizarre. And that game, no less. Very, very strange. More so than anything. I've never seen that. Honestly, never seen anything
jump.
like that. Without an injury list.
Is John Chaney involved in something? Did something happen?
Is John Chaney still with us?
I don't know. I think he is. Right?
I have to.
That's
John
a good
Chaney,
question.
who, of course, threatened to basically kill John Calipari on video.
The anniversary of that was recently because I saw it pop up.
We lost John Chaney in January of 2021.
Okay, so
at
he
the
has
age
passed.
of 89.
I knew he lived a long life, but that the anniversary of him storming into the post game conference was recently because I saw a clip of it somewhere.
Well, we had a lot of great anniversaries recently. By the way, congratulations to you. Trivia master Frank Nicotero.
Yeah, we've all. So they moved again. We can't do it on Thursdays anymore. They moved their trivia to Monday, Wednesdays. The Stunt is an app, and they give away $500. There was like 1,200 people in it. I went 12 for 12. 34 of us split the 500. So I think I got $14 or $15. But I'll take. Hey, I can check it off the bucket list. 12 for 12 on a national live trivia show. Something we'd like to try to do here, which we're working on.
We'd love to.
We're going to try and do that.
But it's very bizarre on that with the UAB. Other games that are starting at the top of the hour, just bringing this up real quick. Wisconsin is 10-point favorites against Rutgers tonight. 134 is the total on that. I didn't bet anything, but this game has had a ton of total action, Frank. And they bet it the way you would bet a game.
An over.
They bet it to the over, which is interesting because we've talked about Rutgers. You want to say a difference in profile for this Rutgers team, Frank, real quick?
Okay.
Where the Rutgers Scarlet Knights this year, they are 1 game over 500. Okay, bit of a disappointment. They have the number one recruit in the country, Ron Harper's son, one of his sons.
Yeah, that's right.
Is going to be there next year. Rutgers is 4th in the country in defense, according to Ken Pom. Unbelievable, top flight. They're 277th in offense.
Yeesh.
Not good.
Yeah.
If you just had an average offense, this would be an NCAA tournament.
They should play Pacific. Pacific's up to 5 points. See a matchup.
Strike up the band.
They must have hit a deep three while we were.
Wow, look at that. 5. I actually will say
41-5.
41-5. Very competitive. Wisconsin, since being 16-4, has won 2 out of their last 9.
Wow.
Been 2 out of their last 9 or 2-7 in their last 9. We went against them on Saturday. We won with Illinois. I don't know if I can't lay 10 points with Wisconsin. So this would be a Rutgers or nothing, but that offense, yeah, 277th in the nation. Very bad, Frank.
It's very bad.
Noah, by the way, we forgot to mention this also. You can say it on this show. It's okay. You can say it.
Oh, yes.
You bet your hometown Pitt Panthers at hopefully a bajillion to one to win it all.
Yeah, they were like 20,000. So, I mean, I did. And they, at the beginning of the year, I bought into the hype, reading a lot of the local media. And Blake Hinson, they still, I mean, they got some work to do in the ACC tournament. I think they have a game against, I think, did they close the season with Boston College this Sunday? Or
Well, they played Boston College.
No, they just played Boston College.
And they won pretty handily. Pittsburgh will play NC State.
That's right, the Wolfpack. Yeah, they
Same
need
colors.
Yeah, there you go. They need to win that game, and then I think Joe Lunardi right now has them as one of the.
Currently, they are team number 74.
Yeah. So they'd have to go pretty deep in the tournament, I think. But again,
win 2 games in. Just so you know, ACC. When you think of the ACC, you think of Washington D.C. automatically. That's where the ACC tournament is this year.
It's like Big East used to be at the Madison Square Garden.
Well, it still is.
Yeah. See, now that Pitt's gone, I forgot. That's right.
Yeah.
It still is there, but it's not the same without the same lineup. But I don't know. Pitt's going to win a couple games in the ACC tournament. They got some quality wins. They beat Virginia. They beat Duke. So they have some quality wins, but they're going to need some help. But I'd like to see them get in. They did well last year. They won a game. I mean, it was the first time we'd been in a long time. So we shall see what happens.
Oh, that was an awful game against Iowa State.
Oh, God. Iowa State, who Alex White has a future on to win the tournament.
Iowa State last night beating BYU coming from behind, undefeated at home.
Right, but they didn't cover.
They did not cover.
It was 7.5, I believe. And the reason I know this is Chris was wearing an Iowa State shirt yesterday, Chris Andrews, sportsbook director, and a guy from Iowa was here going, hey, I'm from Iowa State. He said, I love my team. They're going to win, but they won't cover. And the guy bet BYU, and he was right.
Well, BYU was up double digits in the second half in that game.
Oh, wow.
Iowa State had a nice little frantic comeback at the end to win by 5.
So 5, yeah, right.
It's 18-0 at home this year for Iowa State. You don't play any home games in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that's true.
Again, they are at Big 12, as we've talked about. Again, Houston, number 1 team in the country in the AP poll. I don't have them as my number 1 team. I have them as number 3. I have UConn 1 and Purdue 2.
Purdue 2. Where do you have Tennessee?
Over the last,
I know they're a sexy pick, but
over the last few weeks,
yeah.
And so historically, I don't like Rick Barnes.
Right. I think I've heard you say that on this
I'm
show.
not a fan. He's done so little with so much over the years. I mean, he didn't even make it to the second weekend with Kevin Durant, for goodness sakes. His only Final Four ever was with Texas. With T.J. Ford.
Oh, wow.
Remember T.J. Ford?
Yeah, I do.
2003, they lost to Carmelo Anthony and Syracuse in the Final Four before, of course, Syracuse won the only title they won with Boeheim.
I was in an airport watching that game, by the way.
In New Orleans, I believe. Hakeem Warwick had the block shot at the end, and they won that title. The soon-to-turn 10-year-old me actually picked Syracuse to win the title.
Did you really?
It's pretty funny. In my years of picking brackets, which we'll have a lot of fun with that over the next few weeks, the first ever bracket that I ever filled out was the year Duke with Jay Williams and Shane Battier and Carlos Boozer. They would beat Arizona in the national title game, and I had Duke. So got that one right. Then I had UConn and Syracuse in 03 for Syracuse, 04 for UConn. And then I did not get a single champion right again until Villanova's second title team. Not a single one right.
I'll tell you a funny bracket story. I was in Pittsburgh, and I was me and a friend of mine, Jim Kren, big radio guy in Pittsburgh. We were doing a stand-up show at a very hoity-toity, the Fox Chapel Yacht Club, and this corporation had paid us to be there and do this. So after the show, they go, "Hey, we have a bracket. If you want to get in the bracket, it's like $20." And I'm like, "Sure." This was the year that Bill Fisher took over Michigan.
So
who left?
So it was I
can see his face
with Bill Frieder.
Bill Frieder.
Yeah.
Frieder left. He'd go to Arizona State.
He went to Arizona State.
State.
That's the Bo Schembechler.
Yes, my Michigan man coaches Michigan.
Michigan, exactly. Yeah.
So I took Michigan. Okay, so I took Michigan to win the tournament, and So, by the way, we knew none of these people at this corporation. They let us in. They figured, hey, we're going to sucker these two comics out of $40 to be in our pool. So, obviously, a month later, I get a phone call from this woman. She's like, yeah, hi, is this Frank? I go, yeah. She goes, yeah, you won our company bracket, and we owe you $300 or $400. I can't remember. And I'm like, oh, my God. So, I think they were kind of pissed that they let me in, but I did win. I had Michigan. I mean, no one else had Michigan. I think they were a 5 or 6
They
seed.
were a 3. So
Okay.
That was, of course, you got very lucky at the end because that was the controversial call. And no, trust me, I know this because my mom was an adjunct at Seton Hall, and I went to Seton Hall games growing up, and they honored the 88-89 Seton Hall team.
Right.
At a game we were at, I think it was on the 20-year anniversary.
That's who Michigan beat. Seton
That's
Hall.
who they beat
Right.
in the final.
Right.
Where that great team with John Morden and Seton Hall team that closest they've ever gotten to winning the title.
Yeah.
Of course, in the overtime, they came with the overtime, and they had the controversial block charge call that
Yeah.
went against Seton Hall. Ramil Robinson drew the
Ramil
foul,
Robinson,
made
yeah.
the 2 free throws, and Seton Hall couldn't get a clean shot off.
That's
with
right.
Under 5 seconds to go.
Sorry.
So you were fortunate. That was
I-
at the Kingdom as well.
It was in Seattle. And by the way, I forgot that we even did the bracket. So when this woman called, she probably didn't even have to call me. But anyway, they had to send me a check. It was like $300 or $400, and I was like, I was a young kid. It was great. It was unbelievable. That's the only bracket I've ever won.
Yeah. No. Again, it's pretty funny. Legitimately, got him like let 10-year-old kid me.
Yeah,
got him right.
amazing.
Couldn't get one right until it was the obvious one with Villanova, and
Villanova.
their second one where they just blitzed everyone en route to that second title in 3 years in 2018. DiVincenzo, Brunson, Bridges, Spellman, good team. By the way, it's 47-7 right now.
Oh, my God. 7:47. And that's with 3 minutes to go.
It's very impressive.
So we could see this could be approximately a 110-20 game. And he's like, oh my God.
You're a big fan of on pace guy, right?
I do. Wow, when you bet overs. You're always doing the math. All right, a quarter.
Look at that. They missed another layup.
Miss Little Bunny.
Oh, this is so bad.
And behind the back, yeah, it's just a joke
It's
now.
so bad. Pepperdine.
And another alley-oop.
Oh, look at that.
Jeez.
It's 49-7. What a game. All right, we're going to take a quick
40
break.
and a half.
We're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
You're going to run to the restroom, I think.
Why'd you tell people? Yes, I am.
Hey, look, that's okay. But Kai McKeon, 3-Man Weave, is going to join us next, keeping it in the conference tournaments and more when we get back. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
From the South Point Studio. The perfect blend of sports.
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
Comedy.
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
Yeah. I am beautiful. And a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Join Ryan McCormick.
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Rio.
And host Frank Nicotero.
I look at the clock, I go,
Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day.
Welcome back in. Sports by the Book is the show. South Point Studio, the site. As always, I'm Jeff Parles. And now joining us, one of the Weavers, as we always have here on Thursday. We are getting closer. 2 weeks from today, McKeon, who you see on the other opposite side of your screen right now, Jim Root and Matt Cox, will be here in Las Vegas and may very well be on property here 2 weeks from today. Kai, we're looking forward to it. I know you're looking forward to back-to-back weekends here in town.
Absolutely, Jeff. It's the happiest place on earth in March.
Yes, it is. It's the best week. The first weekend, if you've never done, and I know you guys do it every year, if you have not done Vegas for the first 2 days of the tournament, that Thursday, Friday, it's unlike anything else. You go from about 9:10 a.m. to about 10:45 p.m. nonstop. You got to pace yourself. Got to make sure you get that coffee or tea or whatever caffeinated beverage you go with in the morning. Get it at the right time, or else you're going to have that midday crash pretty badly. But it's a whole lot of fun for sure. All right, before we get in to conference tournaments, I do want to ask you about one game that you have today that is a little bit off the beaten path for some, but Louisiana Tech's playing some really good basketball over the last few weeks. They host Sam Houston State tonight in Ruston, laying 9 tonight with the Bulldogs against Sam Houston State, but you're looking away at the underdog in this one.
Yeah, admittedly, maybe a little bit because I have a La Tech future on this league, so I'm hyper aware of this game. Sam Houston scares me a little bit. I'm surprised this game's at 9. It just seems a bit high. Sam Houston's really competed well with everybody this season. They're a scrappy team. They've won 5 in a row. They beat Louisiana Tech in game 1 also. I think they can keep the Bulldogs off the glass. They're an excellent 3-point defensive team, and they can shoot. Gotta love good shooting dogs. I think Sam Houston can keep it close. So +9, a good bet in my opinion for the Bearcats.
The winner of this game, if it's Sam Houston wins the league. They will be the number 1 seed
Exactly
in the CUSA Conference Tournament. Where is that? Is that still the one where they have multiple courts going at the same time? Are they still doing that now?
No, it's not at the Frisco Disco anymore.
Oh, man.
It's a good question. I don't know where they moved it. North Texas is out of the league, so no more Frisco, unfortunately.
Oh, that was a shame. I always loved that with the 2 games going at once.
Oh, yeah.
CUSA Conference Tournament. Oh, they as one does. They moved it to Huntsville, Alabama.
Of course.
Yeah, naturally.
An easy second choice, an obvious second choice.
As expected for that one. But no, those will be interesting to see what the pricing is on that league. You already have a future on La Tech. They will be the favorites next week in Huntsville for sure. It'll be interesting to see what Sam Houston's price is, especially if they play a close game tonight against the Bulldogs. All right, 2 conference tournaments. By the way, we have a halftime score in Las Vegas. It's very competitive between Pepperdine and Pacific. Pacific, single digits. They got held to it by a team who can't play defense. Hey, you know what? Credit the Wave. They're playing for Lorenzo Romar since he's going to be out of a job as soon as this tournament's over. 58-9 at halftime, Kai. Very competitive game there.
That's got to be the biggest beatdown of the season for one half, 20 minutes. Yeah. Romar, to Romar's credit, his players do love him. Like, he is a player's coach. Didn't get the results done, obviously, but his players actually do like him a lot.
Well, you know what? I think that was with every job. They liked him. Some guys are just not that good of a head coach. That's kind of what Romar is. Great recruiter. Would honestly be a great top assistant for a coach that's trying to build up their career. But as the head guy, hasn't worked out more times than not. All right. I want to start in the Missouri Valley first because Sam Panayonovich, our good friend, was on with us on Saturday, reminded us of the trends in this tournament, historically under City in St. Louis. I don't know why. It's strange. I don't know why, because in the NCAA tournament, that venue plays pretty normal totals wise. But for this tournament, it usually plays to the unders. And so far today, we're 4 for 4, both first half unders, both full game unders. Missouri Valley Missouri State and Murray State could have played for 70 minutes and it still might have not gone over that total. And now here we are where the market knows what they're doing here. Both Evansville, Illinois State and UIC Southern Illinois have been hit to unders so far here. Is there a point where it's too far low, or can you even miss it by a half point or a point? Then you say, okay, we can still go with this because of the way this is trended in this league.
Yeah, I know the first two results of the day say otherwise. I think it's gone too far.
Okay.
Everyone jumps on this. It moves a lot, obviously. The trend has really flattened out over the last couple of years. So while it still looks great on the whole in the past like 15 or so, it has really flattened out. I think it's like 500 the past couple of years. So I would still tread lightly. As to why unders tend to happen in this league, your guess is as good as mine. It's a super competitive tournament always. Most of these teams are kind of grittier, physical, more defensive-oriented teams. They're they're below average efficiency, this league, and that's due to the defense and a lot of the style of play. But recently, with teams like Belmont coming in the league, usually Murray State didn't play like it today, Indiana State changing their style, the unders have gone a little bit away from that trend. So just exercise caution, but certainly worked out so far for you today if you took them.
I want to go to Horizon. This is a very interesting conference tournament this year where, again, these are home games for the better seeds today. And the one seed Oakland, look, Greg Campy always gets it done, man. Always does. Him and his sweater every single year seemingly get it done. I'm a little surprised, and the market has gone the way that I would have thought it was. I was a little surprised where this came overnight, where you even saw some sub-4s out there on the overnight. I know the Mastodons at the beginning of conference play looked like a potential threat to win this league. They're talented. They're playing a little bit better over the last 3 weeks, but I'm still a little surprised that this game is still at 4.5. I think this is a pretty reasonable spot to lay the Golden Grizzlies at home sub-5 still, Kai.
Yeah, I actually go the other way.
Okay.
I like Fort Wayne here. Yeah. And really that's it's kind of something I look for in these conference tournaments is a team that played really well in the non-con or was expected to be good preseason, maybe had a down conference season. Do they start to revert back to their old selves and play to their potential? I tend to think most of the time they do. And Purdue Fort Wayne, what I like about them, their guards are awesome. They're a fantastic shooting team that really is helpful in these conference tournament settings. And Oakland, for as good as they've been all season, they still play that weird, funky zone. It gives up a lot of threes. That makes me just a little bit nervous against a Fort Wayne team that can really fill it up. So I actually lean towards Fort Wayne in this game. I don't think the gap is very much between these two teams, despite the seeding of 1 versus 8.
If Fort Wayne wins this game, Youngstown State was already the betting favorite to begin with anyway. I think this would really make the Penguins, assuming they handle their business against in-state rival Cleveland State tonight, really put the Penguins on a different pedestal the rest of the way. I do want to ask you about the Wisconsin Bowl, because this is an interesting one for me. Milwaukee had to play the first round. They won big in their first game, or not as big as you would have expected, I should say, against Detroit. Did get the win. Now they go to the Resch Center against a Green Bay team that has been a bit of a surprise to some. Not if you've been paying attention, though. They were great value early in conference play. The market has corrected on them. What are your thoughts here? Green Bay laying 1.5, and again, a true home game for the Phoenix tonight.
I think Green Bay is a sneaky home court in this league, and Milwaukee is their rival in the Horizon. I think you're going to get a really good home court environment, but the most important thing is Noah Reynolds is expected back. He's probably the player of the year in this conference. He's been incredible all season. He can literally score 30, 40 points on any given night. It's a great coaching matchup. Bart Lundy and Sundance Wicks, both fantastic coaches. I lean towards Green Bay ever so slightly, fully realizing Milwaukee is a solid team in their own right, talented. But I think Green Bay at the home court, Noah Reynolds returning, gets them over the hump here.
Yeah, I bet Green Bay. That was part of the reason that I asked, with the anticipation that Reynolds was going to play tonight.
Yeah, he's key.
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't play, then Milwaukee should be a favorite in this game. But with the way that he is looking like he's going to be, maybe not 100%, but any sort of version of Noah Reynolds should be enough in that one. All right, let's go to the Patriot. Technically, the second round, we saw Holy Cross win at West Point. We saw Navy handle their business against the league's worst in Loyola. Let's go to the Battle of Eastern Pennsylvania. This is a big-time rivalry game in that part of the country. Yeah. Lehigh and Lafayette. Lafayette is a home underdog with the better seed here in this one. 2.5 with Lehigh laying it on the road here. The Mountain Hawks, the favorite.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but FCS, I think it's the longest football rivalry in the country, in the history of football. Yeah, crazy. Lehigh is where I'm going. -2.5. Yeah. I've heard there's going to be a lot of Lehigh fans in the building tonight at this Lafayette game. They have 5 straight wins. They've been very good down the stretch. They had 1 possession games with the top 2 seeds, Boston and Colgate, down the stretch that they could have gone 7-0, run the table. A big reason for that is they've gotten a lot healthier. Keith Higgins back in the lineup. With him back, they've been fantastic. And they've also gone 2-0 against Lafayette this season, who for sure played over their heads in conference play. Credit to the coach there, but they were not good enough to be the 3 seed in this league from an analytical perspective. So I think Lehigh is the side in this game.
Is Colgate vulnerable at all in this league, Kai?
No.
I
don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It just needing confirmation on that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the same Colgate team that you saw like the last couple of years that, had a chance to win a game in the NCAA tournament, but they are still the class of the conference by a fair margin. Yeah,
there was a 3-way tie at 10-8 for the 2. Boston University won that tiebreak, and honestly, the Trying Navy was no real reward. In all honesty, they're a short favorite tonight at home, 3.5. American University is 5.5 against Bucknell in a 4-5, and then as we said, Kai is on the 6-seeded Mountain Hawks of Lehigh to upset, not really though, as the lower seed, a favorite on the road at Lafayette. All right, I want to go to the what has been the bizarro conference tournament so far, the Atlantic Sun, where the 2 betting favorites are gone already. Eastern Kentucky loses on their home court despite the officiating in the last minute of that Eastern Kentucky-Jacksonville game was a work of art, and not a pretty work of art, to say the very least. Jacksonville survives that and gets through to take on the Stetson Hatters, who handled their business as the 2 seed in one matchup. Stetson is 6 in that one. North Alabama in just a dramatic finish. Running buzzer beater after Lipscomb had a huge comeback. They hit a 3 with less than 5 seconds left. They get a tie. Didn't matter. North Alabama wins it at the horn. And then Austin Peay won in overtime. It just total chaos other than that Stetson game in that league. Austin Peay's 4 at home. Stetson is 6 at home tonight against Jacksonville. Do you think chalk finally prevails here and we get the Hatters and the Govs in Florida, or are we going to have more chaos heading for our way?
I'm rooting for chaos. This league is the hardest league to bet in the country.
Oh, yes.
And I fully stand by that. I don't know what's going to happen on a nightly basis. I thought EKU would win the league pretty easily. Then Jacksonville all of a sudden is playing like the team that I thought they would be in the preseason. This team has a lot of talent. Robert McCray, their best player, he's a Wake Forest guy. And if you look at him play, it's like this guy is, a borderline pro. They have him. They have Bryce Workman up front, a really good player. Stetson's a tough matchup for them because Jacksonville does allow a lot of threes. That's a concern. Stetson beat them twice pretty handily because they hit so many threes. Hopefully Jacksonville plays D. I lean towards their way, and I definitely lean towards North Alabama. I think Austin Peay's depth is really going to hurt them. Off that overtime game, which they should have lost, North Alabama is a solid team. Their guards are nearly as good as Austin Peay's really good guards, and they have a really good big man up front, Damian Forrest, that can kind of handle Cy Witt for Austin Peay. They're good big guys. So I lean towards both dogs in this conference. Again, what do I know? This league is impossible, but I'm rooting for chaos here, total chaos, and a weird championship.
I just want to go, again, there's a lot of leagues that still have regular season games to be had. They just betting-wise, neither Kai or I have much interest other than the game that Kai mentioned before. And I managed to bet UAB at the 2 overnight, so I missed that whole ridiculousness that happened earlier in the day. But I just want to ask you about Saturday where, look, Houston already has the top seed in the Big 12 wrapped up. UConn already has the number 1 seed in the Big East wrapped up. Purdue, after beating Illinois, no one can catch them. There's no even a possibility of a share anymore in the Big 10. How do you handle those 3 teams who right now are jockeying for really just for the number 1 overall seed? They're going to be 1, 2, 3 in the NCAA tournament, 1 seeds, just a matter of what order they're in. How do you handle those elite teams that already have regular season titles wrapped up and realistically have number 1 seeds wrapped up like those 3?
Yeah, I mean, in the case of Houston, they're playing Kansas, a team I think is excellent anyways, and Houston's kind of banged up right now. Another guy got hurt for them, Javier, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Apologies to him. He got hurt in last game, adding to their injury woes. Unfortunate. So probably will look to back Kansas there. I'm sure the market's going to be all over that one, so you might not get a great price. As far as a motivation factor, I think sometimes it's overbet. by the market. Like, this team is quote unquote not going to be motivated. I mean, these are college athletes. They are motivated, and especially a team like UConn. Dan Hurley, that coach, he's not going to take a day off or tell his guys to relax. It's still pedal to the metal, full go. I don't think there's going to be any lack of motivation here for either of those teams, or resting of players, in my opinion.
No, I agree, especially on the UConn one where I think Danny Hurley, as opposed to some guys are like, oh, we won as many teams from the league in the tournament. I think Danny Hurley would be very happy to deliver a potential KO to Providence, who they play on Saturday night there at the Dunk. I know it's not that, but it's still the Dunk to me. It is the Dunk. All right, Kai, before we let you go, Arizona or Tennessee, who do you think ends up with that 1 seed? And assuming that it is Tennessee that ends up with the 1 seed, who do you trust more to get through that West bracket? Because that would be the 1-2 if the Vols do get that 1 seed.
It's a good question. I have a future on Arizona. I don't love that Caleb Love is relied upon so much in this in late game settings. I think if Arizona wins out, I think they get the 1 seed. Mm-hmm. I think it's too easy to put them in the West and call it a day. And they are ahead of Tennessee in the net. They have more Q1 wins to this point. You can kind of do a Rorschach test and say that Tennessee has a better resume. It's super close. It's splitting hairs. I think Arizona probably gets it, but wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee overtook them, especially if Arizona takes a loss down the stretch. I trust Tennessee this year in the tournament, though. Dalton Knecht is the man. The offense is for real. We know the defense is. Yeah, I kind of trust both teams.
It's interesting because, again, we know the past history with Rick Barnes. We know it, but this Tennessee team really feels different, and you just mentioned it. It is because even that really good team that got hosed by the refs with Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield losing to Purdue the year that Virginia won the title, that team, even as good as Schofield and Grant Williams were in college, that team lacked the number one, hey, give him the ball down the stretch and he's going to go get a bucket for us. Dalton Knecht does that. And that's the biggest difference. I mean, look, Barnes hasn't had a dude like this since he was at Texas. This team, and also, too, and again, I can't believe I'm talking myself into a Barnes team, but it's a very different look. They're willing. This is the first Barnes team in a while that's willing to play fast. And now they're not only willing to play fast, they want to play fast. And it gives you so many different ways to beat opponents in the NCAA tournament, where in the last few years especially is like, oh, we're just going to try to grind you out. And Tennessee would go into a tournament game, and we saw it last year in the Sweet 16 against FAU where they couldn't make shots. So this is such a different team. I think I'm with you on Tennessee. I've said my reservations about Arizona in the past, but this Tennessee team, I think, despite the pass for Barnes, they're as trustworthy as anyone at this point.
Yeah, it's Barnes' second best offensive team behind that 2019 team that Tennessee had. But the difference is that 19 team, it wasn't great defensively. It's one of Barnes' weaker defensive teams. This year, they're top 3 in the country on defense, and they still have that potent offense. And I agree, the pace at which they play at is so important. It kind of negates the risk of stagnating and doing a quote-unquote Virginia, right, where you can't play from behind, you can't come back and take over games because you play so slowly. I think Tennessee kind of has that problem figured out with the pace that they play at now. So, yeah, I trust them a lot more than in years past.
Those SEC teams, other than Alabama, I really do think those other 4 SEC teams are more than capable of deep runs this year, with Tennessee leading the way in that conference. He's Kai McKeon. Of course, you can find his work at 3-Man Weave. Him, Matt, Jim, great job as always. Getting to the best time of the year. Conference tournaments, the madness. We're well into it here on March the 7th. Kai, pleasure as always, man. We'll see you guys again next week.
Yep. Thanks, Jeff.
Absolutely. Kai McKeon, everyone. All right. We're taking a quick break. When we get back, Frank Nicotero's back on set. It's 50. Oh, they took 2 points off the board for Pepperdine. It's now 56-9. Look at that. Losing points at halftime on that. We'll talk about that and much more when we get back. Sports by the Book.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show. every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grandview Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grandview Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Welcome back in. Sports by the Book is the show. South Point Studio, the site. Frank Nicotero's back.
I did. I just ran over to the WCC Championship. They offered me a walk-on position for Pacific, and I said no. I thought I could help them, but...
Did they see your athleticism on the Vespa?
I don't know. It was. I said, here, look, I have a Vespa, and also... Here's some video of me throwing 3-for-3 footballs at the NFL Experience, but they didn't care. They didn't want to. They didn't trust my hoop. I told them I can hoop it, but anyway, it's 62-13, 17 minutes to go. Right across town. Tournament time is here, and we're going to be doing a draft. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, we'll get more details of that.
Yeah,
the week of March Madness.
That's going to be fun.
Ryan McCormick making it as difficult as humanly possible on us.
Trying to read how he explained it, I'm like, can you explain this to me in person?
No, it makes sense. It's just going to be a lot of work, and Jerry's going to be the auctioneer. That's all.
Did Jerry know this?
We've talked about it plenty of times. Look, honestly, we should get Jerry a Puddles the Duck head and let him do it as Puddles the Duck. It'd be great. It'll be a lot of fun.
All right. We're doing it. It's going to be fun. That Lafayette-Lehigh game you were talking about, I had friends that went to Lafayette. One of my best friends, Charlie Pinkerton, went to Lafayette. Okay. And I went up for a couple games, and the atmosphere was a lot of fun. And I saw a Lehigh-Lafayette game, a long time ago, and it's in Easton, PA, which is Larry Holmes' hometown.
Yeah, that's the Easton. So Lafayette's in Easton.
Yeah. I've been there, yeah.
Lehigh's in Bethlehem.
Very close.
They're right. They're about what? I think it's 10 miles.
Yeah,
apart?
It was big. I was at a big rivalry game. It was fun.
I actually, just showing where my brain was at early on in my college search, which was kind of funny in retrospect. I actually looked at both of those schools. Saw them in the same day.
Yeah.
Loved the Lehigh's campus.
Okay.
That's all I have to say on the
okay.
subject.
Well, I was at Lafayette's campus, but I spent most of the time inebriated. But anyway,
I was going to say, if you're on a college campus.
Oh, yeah. It was fun. We had a good time. I went up for a football game, too. It was a good atmosphere. So,
well, again, it's as Kai McKeon correctly pointed out, it is the longest continuous college football rivalry, forget just FCS, but in the country now.
That's what I thought. Even longer than, was it Harvard-Yale? It's
a year ahead of Harvard-Yale.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's amazing. I remember they embraced that a lot up there, so it was fun. I went in the fall. Yeah, it was beautiful.
As we expected, Easton, Pennsylvania finds a way into the show today.
Yeah, there you go. And Larry Holmes, too.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So I want to ask you this, because, of course, you've been a comedian a long time as well. We had Bob Zaney in.
Bob Zaney's a legend, man. He was on a Rodney Dangerfield special when I was a kid. Yeah, so he came in and riffed for about 20 minutes and was hysterical.
So I just want to ask you, because I don't think we've ever actually had this conversation, you and I, on this show, maybe on the other show, but not this one.
Okay.
Who are the other than maybe Bob? Who are the early influences?
It's easy.
Of your comedic career?
It's very easy. I was a Letterman freak. I love David Letterman. Even
how could you not be?
Yeah, he really he was a stand-up, but he never had like a special or anything because he was real quirky. rookie, moved out from Indiana, was on The Tonight Show, and he would fill in for Johnny Carson. There were 3 Davids, David Brenner, David Steinberg, and David Letterman, and I loved Letterman. But when it comes to pure stand-up, the first ones I remember being obsessed with was Steve Martin. Like anyone at that age, had Wild and Crazy Guy albums. But the most underrated one in history of comedy, and it's probably, if I had to pick a favorite, would be Robert Klein.
Okay.
Who did a lot of the early HBO specials, and my friend Bill actually got me a DVD set of all of them. And a lot of comedians that started around my time, late 80s, early 90s, probably would name Robert Klein, who I don't think gets his due. He's still around. But just observational, just so funny. And Robert Klein, I liked Carlin because my dad was a DJ and he had comedy records. So I listened to Cheech and Chong and Carlin, and he had a Richard Pryor record. But when HBO really started televising stand-up, it was Robin Williams and Eddie Murphy. So I taped those and all the Rodney specials and the young comedian specials. But I'd say Robert Klein, Jay Leno. I mean, Jay Leno's early stand-up's fantastic. Eddie Murphy, Robin Williams, all the greatest, I guess, of that era. And I just studied the tape. I had these 6-hour videotapes that just had comedy specials, and I just watch them over and over. So the first time I did stand-up, I kind of knew what I was doing. I knew how to kind of write a setup and a punchline and make it flow. So, and it was just from purely studying.
What's the Malcolm Gladwell line? It's 100. Is it 100,000 hours of
10,000 hours?
It's 10,000.
10,000 hours, yeah.
10,000 hours of something
for anything.
to perfect it.
Yeah. And I probably watched 10,000 hours of stand-up. So when I started, had a good grasp of how to do it. And I remember I went up at 19. I wasn't even old enough to get into the club. And I did really well my first time. And I was like, this will be easy. Then second time, I flopped. But I started getting a lot of work because everywhere was doing stand-up during this explosion. Pizza joints, bars. So you could get on stage 5-6 times a week. I was making $60 at a record store, but with taxes taken out, or I don't know, I could end up making $150 or $200 hustling almost every night. And at 19, it was ridiculous. So it was great. It was fun times.
Let's just go to Vegas in general.
Yeah.
For just the scene as a comedian. Again, you're gonna be headlining some shows.
Yeah, I'm doing the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club. I'm very excited. May 17th and 18th. It's one show Friday, 2 Saturday. And look, it's starting over. In LA, I was a regular a lot of the clubs, Laugh Factory and the Ice House and the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa, but I'm starting over. So what's really nice is you get recommendations from friends like any business, and they still want to see you. So you got to kind of go in and, do a set that you wouldn't normally do, like an audition almost again. You're like, holy crap, I've been doing this so long, but I don't mind. And there's a lot of clubs here. So there's a lot of work here. And so slowly but surely this summer, I'll probably be appearing around town a lot more.
We got to get you the Dirty at 12:30.
That's here, and I think we're going to try to start doing something here too during the earlier hours. So, a little earlier than that. I mean, I was talking to Noah Gardenschwartz, who we had on the show, and his wife Esther. They're like, they have 2 kids, and they're like, the idea of going out at midnight to a show is ridiculous. So I'm kind of I agree with them. So back in my younger days, maybe.
I'm gonna change the topic over to your home city.
Yes, I'm allowed to say it here.
So you're allowed to say it. The rumor of the day, the rumor du jour.
Yeah.
Is that the Steelers are interested in Russell Wilson?
I think apparently he's going even for a visit. I think he is
going for a visit.
I think the Post-Gazette has reported that.
What are your thoughts?
Okay, originally when I realized they were cutting him, I said, what, 1.7 million is the vet minimum, or it's something? It's like $1 million.
It's very
$1 million.
low.
I said, yeah, do it. Pickett needs to be pushed. Get a vet in there. He's won a Super Bowl. Let's be honest, he should have won 2 Super Bowls. But then I was watching, it was Colin Cowherd or someone was saying, whoever who was on with him was saying, think about all the things Russell Wilson did in Denver. He needed his own office. His teammates didn't even have his phone number. If they want, you had to get a message to people. I mean, so he was really difficult. But the saving grace there is Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin will say, look, if you come here, you're a rookie. I mean, you're coming in, you're not getting an office in Pittsburgh. You're not allowed to say, you're not allowed to, not give your phone number. It'll be a different atmosphere. And I think Sean Payton probably tried to do that, but it was probably in the contract and had to honor that stuff. But having his own office and alienating himself from the team, wouldn't be able to do that. I would take a flyer on him. I mean, honestly, I want Kirk Cousins first. I really do for a couple of years, but I don't think that's happening with his, the money he's going to get. And I heard Kirk Cousins is house hunting in Atlanta.
So conflicting reports on that
Yeah?
whole thing.
Okay.
But I will say this, where I expect Cousins to be the quarterback of the Falcons.
Yeah.
It just makes too much sense
Yeah,
for
it does.
everybody involved. For
Yeah.
Minnesota, makes sense. Look, Kirk was underrated when it's all said and done
Yeah.
for his career. He's a good, not great quarterback. You're never going to realistically win a Super Bowl with him, but won playoff games, won a division with him, even though it was a total lockbox division, as we know. 2 years ago, actually was on pace for his best season as a Viking this year before
he got hurt.
rupturing the Achilles. But you look at the garbage that is at quarterback in that NFC South. You have Bryce Young, who knows if he's even if he will be salvaged. I know that's harsh on a guy who was in his rookie year.
Right.
It was that bad. Baker Mayfield probably just had his best season in Tampa, especially if he returns.
And he's going to resign there. Yeah.
I would imagine I would imagine that Tampa will bring him back, and he'll want to go back. It was.
I think so.
A very beneficial relationship for both parties on that. And Derek Carr is Derek Carr. I think I don't need any other explanation. You put Cousins in there.
Yeah, Atlanta all of a sudden just
Atlanta, who last year, if they had good quarterback play, would have won the division.
Yeah.
They just had horrible quarterback play, and it cost them everything.
Yeah.
Cost Arthur Smith his job. And even though I didn't like the Raheem Morris hire, I would have hired either one of the two known commodities at head coach of either Vrabel or Belichick if I were them. But if you get Cousins, you win that division.
I think so.
you win that division going away.
I think you're right.
Stays healthy.
And where did Arthur Smith end up?
Arthur Smith is now your offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, geez.
I don't think I know people will disagree with me in it. I don't think Arthur Smith is as bad as what he showed this past year in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Where he just refused to use his best players. I think that was just one of those where it's just, I am smarter than everyone else, and I'm going to prove it.
So maybe he's
by winning
humbled a little.
It should have humbled him.
Yeah.
Where he had bad quarterback play, and Jonnu Smith, who, by the way, signed a nice contract today with the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, he did?
Was his leading touchdown maker on a team with Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Bijan Robinson.
That's ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous. So, no, I think Cousins ends up there. From the Steelers' perspective on everything, I don't get why Justin Fields isn't the first call for them.
Well,
it just makes too much sense.
I think they're playing hardball. I think they only the most they want to give up is a third rounder. I don't think they want to give up anything more. I don't think they should. And I think here's the thing: it's a buyer's market on that because Chicago is going to take Caleb Williams, right?
I would be shocked if they don't.
Exactly. So now you can get Justin Fields for a lot lower. And the Bears messed that up by waiting long, I think. So, I don't know. We'll see. Is Justin Fields a move up from Kenny Pickett?
Yes.
He is.
I think it's significant, personally.
I know. I'm such a homer with Pickett. I know. But they need to. I just don't want to see Ryan Tannehill as the guy they bring in. But it makes sense with Arthur Smith.
That's what everyone, it's going to be. Pickett's going to be on the roster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
And he very well may be the opening day starter.
Yeah, and he's cheap. So
but the backup, you can't go in with. I know Rudolph played well down the stretch.
I know.
But you can't go in with Rudolph as the only backup.
I don't think you can.
I don't. If I'm Pittsburgh, I don't want anything to do with Russ. I think on top of Russ being done.
Yeah.
I think he's a malcontent.
Yeah.
Also.
I think
you don't want anything to do with him. Fields, I think, would take a full advantage of a new opportunity in a new place. That's still the option. Tannehill makes sense. We know that Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator for the Titans when the Titans were the 1 seed and made the AFC title game as a 6, and Tannehill had his best 2 years in the NFL then.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But
Fields has had, so this would be his 5th different offensive coordinator.
Even if he stayed in Chicago.
I know, exactly.
Because Getsy's now here in Vegas.
I don't know. So I don't know. Fields' talent. I mean, Ryan McCormick, of course, he wants them to keep Fields.
I think at this point, if you're Chicago, it would be a mistake to have the number 1 pick back-to-back years and not take the quarterback when it hasn't totally turned.
Yeah.
Like if the Bears had made the playoffs this past year, it's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Where if all right, and if because they were by the end of the year, they were one of the more improved teams in the league by the end of the year from where they started. Where if they went on a run, got the 7th seed instead of Green Bay, okay. You can go forward with Fields. I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
I just don't. You can't pass up. And again, I think it's closer with Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams than people are making it out to be.
Really? You
I
think
still
so?
think Williams is the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
But it's still closer than I think some people are making it out
Alex and I talked about. I just did not watch Jaden Daniels play a lot. I really didn't. I didn't watch a lot of SEC. I didn't watch a lot of LSU games. all of a sudden you would see his name when you'd see the Heisman watch online. All of a sudden you'd see Jane Daniels, and I'd really never watched him play.
It was
much.
the right choice as the Heisman too.
It was when you look at the numbers and what he did, but I don't know. I think Fields will. He probably will be a Steeler. I don't know. Tannehill. I just don't want Tannehill. I don't want. I was a Kenny supporter, and I don't know. He had 6 touchdown passes last year. I mean, that's not good.
No, it's not.
But again, they blame Matt Canada. So if he gets one more year. If he doesn't show anything this year, then they have to just say, okay, he's a bust. And as Chris Andrews, our sportsbook director here at South Point, will say, they could not pass on a Pitt quarterback after passing on Dan Marino so many years ago. The Rooneys would have felt snake bit if Pickett would have went on to be a good quarterback. He just, under that pocket, as soon as he feels any pressure, he just spins left and gets sacked. So, whereas Mason Rudolph held in the pocket. So we'll see.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
Mason Rudolph was run out of town.
Mason Rudolph was better than Pickett was.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the indictment of Kenny Pickett, that Mason Rudolph, who essentially was behind Trubisky and was basically run out of town anyway.
Yes.
And was almost forgotten that he was even on a roster. It's like, oh yeah, Rudolph's still there.
And he played well.
He actually played well.
3-0 in the regular season. By the way, Caleb Williams, ex-Bear and ex-Steeler Merrill Hodge said he's not special. I saw him break him down.
Okay. I didn't even know Merrill was still doing analysis.
It was some online. I don't know what network he was on, but he was saying he's not special, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know. Who knows? You know what? I'm done trying to evaluate these high-end draft picks.
Yeah.
It's an inexact science.
That is.
We don't know. Even guys, look, and Chris's favorite quarterback ever, Andrew Luck.
Yeah, he loves
Andrew Luck was awesome in the NFL, but didn't make it long because of the injuries.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, who was supposed to be this generational guy, one playoff win,
been
one
good.
playoff
It's
appearance.
been good, yeah.
I think coaching has done him a disservice,
Yeah.
but regardless, I mean, you don't know. You really don't know in the end until, again, would it shock me if right now going into this, I have Williams the top guy, Daniels the second guy, May the third guy.
Yeah.
Would it shock me if Drake May ends up being the best of the 3? No, because it's an inexact science when it's all
And how has J.J. McCarthy moved up the board so much?
Well, that one I haven't quite figured out.
I can't figure out. I saw some of the throws he made. He couldn't hit the up.
J.J. McCarthy is going to go in the top 10.
Someone said, one of the guys, some say he could go top 5. I'm going, what?
Yeah, I think 6 is probably the earliest he goes.
I don't know.
Because the Giants are picking at 6, and if they don't move up, it wouldn't shock me if they take McCarthy at 6 because of the reports of they are very not happy with Daniel Jones.
Yes.
Shocked that happened.
Tommy DeVito's still there. That's all I'm saying.
Tyrod's not there anymore. Tyrod's a free agent this offseason.
73-20, Pepperdine over Pacific.
75. Oh, he missed the layup.
This is just sad.
We should have just laid the points with Pepperdine. We wouldn't have even had to watch this in the second half. Would have been the easiest win you have all year in sports betting.
Whew.
So, all right. Tomorrow on the program,
Who's on tomorrow?
Chris Andrews is back. Chris Andrews is on your program as well, doing double duty.
I hope so. Yeah, we would love Chris to stop in. Chris, we haven't had him for a couple weeks.
He's been on vacation. He's back.
He looks very well rested. He's got his Bucknell shirt on today. And tomorrow we have Chip Chinnery and we have the Neil Diamond impersonator stopping in, who's playing the showroom here at South Point this weekend. And Chip Chinnery is a comedian friend of mine. And Ryan McCormick will be back in the producer's chair after having a few days off.
Yeah, tomorrow for us is Vinny and Chris. I'm sure Jimmy will show up. Saturday will be our last regular season Saturday in college hoops.
Oh man, I love it.
And then next week, chaos.
Yeah,
because it's all the conference. Every conference tournament is going, other than the ones that have already been completed. I don't know if you've ever done a conference tournament week here.
No.
Because everyone talks about March Madness, and correctly so. Because it's as fun of a 2 days, that Thursday, Friday, and the weekend's pretty good too, but the Thursday, Friday are as fun of 2 days as there is in the city.
That's the best.
Next week is awesome.
That's going to be
because
great.
It is really every single league, a little more familiarity with the team, so it's different handicap than the NCAA tournament games.
Right.
But legitimately from 8:30 in the morning sometimes all the way to after midnight.
I know.
Legitimately 15 straight hours of basketball.
And we have the Pac-12 right down the street.
Pac-12, well, there's plenty of tournaments in town.
Yeah.
UCC's obviously
here.
The WAC will be in that same venue after that's done.
Oh, my God.
Big West is at the DLC. Thomas and Mack will, of course, at the Mountain West.
What's the deals? Oh, the Dollar Loan Center. I've been there with Ann. Yes, we shot Celebrity
Mountain
Flag
West
Football.
is at Thomas and Mack. Pac-12 is at T-Mobile.
Jeez.
It's 5 total, right, Ann? Yeah, 5 total. I got it right. So last year for the Pac-12 tournament, of course,
Yeah.
And they're
Sad.
going to be going out with a whimper because there's only 2 teams that are worth anything in that conference.
UCLA, I try to watch.
disaster.
I've been a UCLA
They're
fan my whole life.
big underdogs tonight against Arizona.
Oh, wow. Jeez. I've been a UCLA fan my whole life. So them and Pitt, those are my teams. Pitt and UCLA.
You pick good uniform combinations.
That is good.
And
news.
you like multiple shades of blue and yellow.
Yeah, that's true. That must be my colors. Yeah. I'll wear blue and yellow tomorrow.
You should. You should. All right. That's all the time we have. Frank, thank you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Caden, by the way, Caden did his hot dog eating challenge today, real quick. He had to do 3 hot dogs and buns in a minute. I will say better performance than expected.
True.
Got all the protein down, but the carbs did not go.
Didn't get the.
So
but in his defense, the hot dogs here, the Vienna beef,
They were hefty today.
they are bigger than the Nathans. We'll give them that.
They were hefty.
Are you okay, Caden? You all right?
He actually is pretty.
He's 20 years old.
He seems pretty good, all
Yeah.
things considered, for the rapid. He still did. You kind of gave up after you hit a minute, so you don't have an accurate time of what it actually was.
Yeah, it was. He tried. He got the old college.
But it was a very good effort.
It was
a
fun to
much
watch.
better effort than I expected it to be based off of last week's draw.
There is video of that, but I don't know if he'll allow it out.
It will not be for public.
It will not be for
consumption.
public.
No one wants to see that. Jerry, good work, and good work as always. I'm Jeff Parles. We'll see you again tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.